Why do we suffer at the hands of these politicians? Don't you know politicians work for you?
Hey!
You're the boss. You hire them and you fire them. Look at their campaign. You know what they do? They audition.
Yeah!
Talking Neighbor Fan, Jerry here. We're back with our podcast and want to just bring you up to date on some of the things that's going on around us that we don't pay attention to. Like in Chicago, when I talk to you all the time about the police and what they're doing and not doing, I don't be kidding. I don't be lying. Check it out yourself. I mean, Chicago, you can pull this up yourself. Chicago makes the least amount of arrests when there's murder than any other police in the country. They only arrest 20% of the murders in Chicago. Let me repeat that. They only arrest 20% of the murders in Chicago. I got my theories behind that. And it's clear to me that this is what they want. They want it to be chaos. The guy that's the so-called president for Fraternal Order Police, he said it. He didn't want that black man in there as mayor. So he told people that if he goes in there, there's going to be murder and chaos everywhere. Because they're not going to do their job. Understand, they are making from $85,000 to $95,000 a year. That's not counting overtime. But they only arrest 20% of the murders in Chicago. I'm going to shut up and just let you take a look at some of the things that go on. I want you to take a look at this.
Tonight we hear from a Chicago mom and what she says was a slow police response after a terrifying home invasion. Surveillance video captures the suspects take a look in the backyard of her Wicker Park home. They broke in while she was inside, but ran out when she threatened to call police. She tells us it took 4 hours for officers to show up.
An hour and a half goes by. I called a sixth time, and I asked to speak to a 911 supervisor. And he suggested I call my alderman. And I said, why would I call my alderman? He said, encourage him to hire more police.
Now, his response was, call your alderman. Basically, because I'm not going to do a damn thing. And didn't show up for 4 hours. Is that ridiculous, or do they feel that they can just do anything they want? Lay back, collect $85,000 to $95,000 a year, and don't solve any crimes. I want you to take another look at another case that caught my eye. Check this out.
The family of an assistant school principal shot and killed at his condo building last year has filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Abner Joseph's family says the 32-year-old was unarmed and having an emotional crisis when he was shot 7 times by a neighbor. Their lawsuit claims that security at the condo building let the armed neighbor get involved instead of waiting for police. No criminal charges have been filed against the neighbor who claimed self-defense.
I want you to take a look at that now. Here's a man that comes down the hallway in a building where he lives, attacks a assistant principal, pulls out a gun, shoots him 7 times, saying he was making a disturbance. And they didn't charge him. They didn't lock him up. They put handcuffs on him and let him go because they didn't see no reason to charge this man, even though the brother that he shot had no gun, no weapon, no nothing. Unbelievable.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs and stand in water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Now, let me talk to you about one of the most important things that you can do in your life. And I'm talking about for you, I'm talking about for your kids, your grandkids, your mom, everybody in America. And I'm not talking about black people. I'm not talking about white people, Hispanics. I'm talking about everybody. Everybody. You have to get out there and vote. Take a look at what you're up against. Now, I'm going to do a special segment on this on the next podcast. But look at what you're up against. You got a woman that went out there that said that, oh, Trump was the dirtiest dog in the world, and, you know, you should never have blah, blah, blah. And then when she lost, which she knew she was going to lose anyway, then she turned around and said, well, you know, I'm going to vote for him because, oh, my goodness, take a look. I don't want to try to sell it to you. Take a look at yourself. Tell me what you think.
Times change, and so has Trump. He's gotten more unstable and unhinged. If you mock the service of a combat veteran, you don't deserve a driver's license, let alone being president of the United States. We've seen him get confused. He was confused about me having something to do with keeping security away from the Capitol. He was confused when he said that Biden was going to run us into World War II. He's not qualified to be the president of the United States. It's not normal to insult our military heroes and veterans. He was thin-skinned and easily distracted. It's not normal to spend $50 million in campaign contributions on personal court cases. There is no way that the American people are going to vote for a convicted criminal. It's not normal to threaten people who back your opponent. He went and was trying to buddy up with Putin. Every time he was in the same room with him, he got weak in the knees. And it's not normal to call on Russia to invade NATO countries. Donald Trump has done all of that and more in just the past month.
Okay, when I'm telling you about voting, it's so important. You know, we talk about ignorance, and I do think that people that don't know what's going on with this orange-haired guy are ignorant. You can get angry if you want to, but I do think you are. But anyway, just take a look at some of the things he did. As I said, I'm going to report on this whole thing in about a week or so. Okay, but take a look and you see what I'm talking about.
You'll recall back in March, April of 2020, I've written about this. I've told you this story many times. It's not a secret. It's easy to find. Jared Kushner suggested to Donald Trump that because all the people who had died of COVID at that point or the vast majority of them anyway, had died in Washington State, in Seattle basically, in New Jersey or in New York or in Connecticut, these all being blue states with Democratic governors, that it would be, quote, an effective political strategy not to do anything about COVID. Also, most of the people dying were black and brown. Not to do anything about COVID and to blame the deaths on these Democratic governors, which is, throughout the month of April, exactly what Donald Trump did, which led to 500,000 unnecessary deaths, according to a study done by the British medical journal Lancet. He killed 500,000 Americans. I mean, death. Anybody? 500,000 dead Americans because of Donald Trump? We had more people die from COVID, and we continue to have more people die from COVID than any other developed country in the world because of Donald Trump, because he is the death and destruction. People need to wake up to what's coming.
Okay, folks, we're about to wrap this thing up. And before we do, yes, your check will be in the mail, okay? As far as I know, there's no changes yet. I told you it'll be in August. But what I want to tell you right now is I want you to know this gentleman here. He goes by the name of Melvin Steele. He and his brother was the songwriters. They were songwriters. And they wrote some of the biggest hits you ever want to see. Melvin is a real good friend of mine. We hang around. We hung out in Chicago this last week, him, his wife, and my wife. And we just really enjoyed ourselves. And one of the big songs that he wrote, and he wrote a bunch of them. They wrote a bunch of them. One of them is this song that's going to be performed by, the song was written for this group, but this song being presented to you by the Spinners. And the name of the song, man, I love it. Biggest song. I mean, everybody loves this song. Old, young, new, everything. Could it be I'm falling in love? I want y'all to take a look at this, and you'll see what I mean. See you next week.
No